Right, Mohamed Salah has been back in training with Liverpool today as they prepare for tomorrow's Champions League match away in Marseille. Salah last played for Arne Slot's side on December the 13th before heading out to the Africa Cup of Nations with Egypt. Salah scored 4 goals in the tournament before Egypt were beaten in the semi-finals by Senegal, who went on to win the whole thing. Right, OK, so Liverpool, how will they go on then in the south of France, and will we see Mo Salah in the side? Vinny O'Connor is in Marseille for us right now. Afternoon to you. Vinny, looks slightly better, the weather over there, than it is in North London and Michael Bridge that we just saw a few moments ago. And Liverpool going to come up with some familiar faces tonight.
They are, because there's 10 players in that Marseille squad that have figured in the Premier League over the years, and just thinking of one in particular who's coming back at the moment will strengthen that back line after being away with Morocco at the African Cup of Nations, like Mo Salah, who is obviously Agar, the former West Ham defender, of course. On top of that, of course, Egan Riley has played at Manchester City. I think he made one substitute appearance in the Premier League for City, but also had that spell at Burnley as well in the Championship. Emerson Palmieri we saw at both Chelsea and West Ham. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, who we'll hear from shortly as well, had those spells at Southampton and Spurs. Angel Gomez, of course, 5 Premier League appearances for Manchester United. Ahmed Traore is on loan from Bournemouth. Matt O'Reilly is on loan from Brighton. Mason Greenwood made 50 league starts for Manchester United. And there's Neil Maupay, of course, who was at Brighton, Everton and Brentford. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who had spells at Arsenal and Chelsea. Now, I just wonder whether that number can grow to 11 with the link with Ethan Nwaneri of Arsenal and the potential for him coming over on loan, or were he to join Marseille on loan, would it just be to make it back up to 10? Because I mentioned Matt O'Reilly, well, there's talk of his loan spell ending early and him going back to Brighton during this transfer window as well. So they were 2 things that I put to Roberto De Zerbi when I spoke to him a little bit earlier on, and this is what he had to say.
No, Matt O'Reilly is a good player, but in that position we have a lot of very good players, and you have to analyze the physical condition and the type of game I think for the next game. Anyway, he's still a good player. We love him as a guy, as a player, but maybe can play at the beginning in the first 11 or in the second half. Is still very important for us. Nwaneri in the transfer market, I think, is not the right moment to speak. I know him, he's a good player, but in transfer market you can ask better Mehdi Benatia, Pablo Longoria.
Vinny did really well, didn't he, in the Premier League with Brighton, De Zerbi, and I think a few were a little surprised when he went to Marseille. What are the chances of him coming back to England for a big job, do you think?
Well, we're seeing links with Manchester United once again. And remember, back in August 2024, he was actually linked with United then, and the reports were, and we understood certainly at the time, that he interviewed for the job. United had Erik ten Hag in position at that point and ultimately decided to keep him in charge. And by the time he lost his job, then Roberto De Zerbi was actually then the head coach here at Marseille. Now, what we're also hearing, and it's been widely reported by L'Equipe over here, is that De Zerbi actually used a contract offer from Manchester United as a motivational team talk to his players here at Marseille. That was back in August 2024. And in that team talk, he says, "This is where I could have been," meaning Manchester United, "but I put my passion before money. I came to Marseille for the passion." And he certainly seems to be enjoying that passion at the moment as well. But I had to put it to him, those links with Manchester United and the possibility that he could return to the Premier League in the summer, when, of course, Michael Carrick's time as interim boss at United comes to an end. And again, this is Roberto De Zerbi's response to that.
My focus is totally on Marseille. I wanted to come here in this moment, to come here the day before of a very important, very crucial game. And I have no space on my head to think other team, especially because I feel very well in this city, with this player, with this club. And for the future, we got to speak in the next month, in the next year, I don't know.
I just wonder whether Roberto De Zerbi is leaving the door slightly ajar there by saying that there will be talks in the future as regards his position here. But at the same time, it was certainly less emphatic than what Pierre-Emile Højbjerg had to say about his own future, because he was asked about links with Juventus in his news conference, and he quite emphatically shot them down, saying there'd been no contact whatsoever. And he's fully focused, as is Roberto De Zerbi, on the task in hand, which is that Champions League clash with Liverpool here tomorrow night. And when it comes to that, I think we saw those pictures of Mo Salah obviously back in training. I think that's one of the reasons where Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, while he looks at Liverpool's recent form and sees that they've drawn 4 consecutive games in the Premier League, he's not underestimating them because of the return of players like Mo Salah to their squad, and the chances are that he will travel over with them later on this afternoon.
I think it's not fair to downplay Liverpool, the champions of England, with great players that they have. I think Mo Salah is coming back from the AFCON as well. They have fantastic players. They have a fantastic team. So tomorrow will be a tough match, and Liverpool are a great team. We have to play a great match. We have to be on our best. But also our ambition and our way to work every day is to play these kind of matches in a way that says we want to win the game. Of course, we know that Liverpool are the champions of England, as I said before. But I think it's 2 teams tomorrow that will, go for the big opportunity.
So not the time to talk about players' futures, not the time to talk about the managers' futures, and not the time to talk about potential incomings during this transfer window. It is indeed all about Liverpool tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I think it'll be a really great atmosphere in that stadium behind you, and it's a real cauldron there tomorrow night. Thank you very much, Vinny. Next up, we will be in Milan as Arsenal prepare to put their perfect Champions League record on the line against Inter. It's 6 wins from 6 for Arsenal in the Champions League, but tonight that record faces arguably its toughest test. They are away to Inter Milan, who need the points themselves to guarantee a top 8 finish. Dharmesh Sheth is in Milan for us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Less than 7 hours now until kick-off between Inter Milan and Arsenal in the Champions League. I've made my way to the Piazza Cordusio. And this is a big game, particularly for Inter Milan, because it started so well for them in the Champions League, didn't it? 4 wins out of 4 at the start, followed by those damaging defeats against Atletico Madrid and against Liverpool. It leaves them 6th in the Champions League table. However, they are level on points with 9th placed Liverpool. And remember, only the top 8 qualify as of right into the last 16. So Inter Milan, you'd think, need the win. Arsenal, they want the win. They know victory tonight at the San Siro would guarantee a top 2 finish. Why is that significant? Well, it means that their home leg will